Good morning. Am I on? There we go. Welcome to the Unitarian Church of Edmonton. My name is Brandie Moller-Reid. My pronouns are she and her. I have the pleasure of being your service leader this morning, along with Reverend Rosemary, who will be leading us today too. We do hope you feel welcome here. The Unitarian Church is a liberal, religious, multi-generational community. We celebrate a rich mosaic of free-thinking, spiritual questing individuals joined in common support and action. We welcome diversity, pursue the common good, and work for justice. We believe in the compassion of the individual heart, the warmth of community, and the search for meaning in our lives. We'd like to acknowledge this morning that we gather with gratitude this morning on Treaty 6 land. A treaty is an inheritance, a responsibility, and a relationship. May we be good neighbors to one another, good stewards to our planet, and good ancestors to all our children. And so, as we begin this special hour together, I invite you to quiet your devices and yourselves so that we can all enjoy the service. May we be reminded here of our highest aspirations and inspired to bring our gifts of love and service to the altar of humanity. May we know once again that we are not isolated beings, but are connected in mystery and miracle to the universe, to this community, and to each other. I know of no announcements this morning. You have one? Okay.
Good morning. My name is Reverend Rosemary Morrison, and my pronouns are she, her, and it is my pleasure and honor to serve this congregation, the Unitarian Church of Edmonton. So I don't really have an announcement. I have an instruction, you might say. So we're going to try something new this morning, and just to make things hopefully run a little smoother, hopefully not feel more awkward. So we're going to change up the way we collect the offering. So Brandie will do a call for the offering, and the ushers will stay at the back until she is finished talking before she passes the plate. And as soon as the plate has passed you by, you may go ahead and light a candle of joy and concern. And probably Brandie will say something about that at the time as well to remind you. So this is something I thought we could try until the end of the year, and then we'll assess to see how it goes. Several other congregations do this, and it kind of streamline. It's not that we want to streamline the candles, because it's a very important part of our service, but it. We offer ourselves, we offer our goods and our time, our talent, our treasure, and we also offer our good intentions. And so they go very, very well together. So once again, the ushers will go and stand at the back until Brandie is finished talking, and then you'll come to the front and start passing the plate. And as the plate is finished passing your row, feel free to go and light a candle of joy and concern. Does that make sense? Questions? Great. Okay.
Clear as mud. I'll try and help guide everybody through that. So we'll begin this morning with a time of contemplation and music with a prelude by Karen Mills. Excuse me. As is our tradition, we start by opening the service with a chalice lighting. And I've asked my baby on this Mother's Day, Claire Reed, to come up and light the chalice for us. We light this chalice for mothers and mothering, to celebrate those who have taken on the task of nurturing a young one, baby, child, or youth into adulthood, to celebrate those who have nourished the light of truth and compassion in growing minds and hearts, to celebrate those who have committed time, money, energy to the growth of others in this world. We light this chalice to celebrate and hold dear this flame of love. And that's by Claudene, Oliva. And now we'll do our opening hymn. Hymn number 188, Come, Come, Whoever You Are. The text is behind me on the screen, and please stand as you are willing or able. And join in singing hymn 188.
We'll attempt a round, and we'll start on this side. Okay? We'll sing it through once all together, and then as a round. And we'll start on this side. I see lots of choir members. We'll be good.
That was lovely. One of the purposes of this church community is to engage all who gather here to grow more generous in spirit and action. In addition to supporting this community, we also make a monthly commitment to the wider community. 1/2 of the unidentified cash that is received is given to an outside organization. We take an offering that allows us to exercise that all-important generosity of spirit, an offering that will support the self-supporting church and its many ministries. For the month of May, we are supporting YES, the Youth Empowerment and Support Services. I would like to tell you about our charity. YES is a 24/7 single point of access to immediate and low-barrier physical, mental, cultural, and emotional health supports, and a safe place to stay for youth aged 15 to 21 who are experiencing crisis in the Edmonton metro area. While I was looking through their website, I came across an award that was recently given to them. In 2002, YES was awarded the Lieutenant Governor's Circle on Mental Health and Addiction. The Circle Trues Awards are presented to those demonstrating commitment, passion, and ingenuity in reducing stigma and improving the lives of those affected by mental illness and addiction. YES was awarded the Circle Trues Imagination Award in 2022 for their cohort transitional residence pilot project, which was conducted during the pandemic to help fund family cohort-style living for 73 youth, which allowed them to be unmasked and not socially distanced in their cohorts. The program was also designed by the youth to help them identify what skills they needed to work on as they transition to more independence. True imagination and innovation in mental health and addiction services are described as the cornerstone of this category. As will become apparent as we proceed this morning, I found this to be quite fitting for our service today. As the plate passes you, please feel free to get up and light some candles of concern, joy, celebration, as you see fit. If you wish to receive a tax receipt for your gift, you can use a donation envelope found on the table by the sanctuary doors. Please provide your contact information on the envelope so we can send you a tax receipt at year end. Many of our members and friends give monthly or annually through automatic withdrawal from their accounts. For this, we are grateful. For those of you online, we encourage you to visit the Yes website to make a donation. And as we light our candles and receive the offering, we'd like to thank you for your generosity of spirit and action through all we do here in this community and the wider world. We are involved in the important spiritual work of creation and compassion.
I'm going to ask Brandie to light 4 candles for us as we end this special time together. The first candle is for all those joys and concerns left resonating in our hearts and minds, thoughts that we have yet to fully develop. And I would also like, you've got all 3. Okay, so it's been a bit of an unprecedented week here at Unitarian Church of Edmonton. We've had 3 deaths in our family. The first being Star Curry. She had a stroke a little while ago, pretty major stroke, and she passed this week. She was in hospice care at Pilgrim, that one Pilgrim House, I think it's called, a lovely facility. And folks from here that knew her from she was an activist and a very strong member of the NDP party, and whenever there was a Child Haven event, she was right there and helping and doing everything that she could. It was a cause that was near and dear to her heart. The second person that passed away was a dear woman that I met with a few times in her assisted living. She was in care and had been for quite a while. She was almost 100, and her name was Jean Zwicky, a delightful woman and well into her 90s, a delightful conversationalist. We had the most beautiful conversations. We're both birders, and she plays the piano, and I like to play the piano, and she was one of UCE's first musicians. She was the piano player here for UCE for years, but a very long time ago. As I said, she was near 100 when she passed, and I think she was probably a fairly young person when she was the official musician here at UC, but probably not in this building. And the third one that perhaps people might, the third person, not one, that people might know a little more, because Maurice was part of Chalice, and he also passed this week. He had cancer and it had spread, and he had been in comfort care for a little while. And so I'd just like to take a moment and remember these three beautiful people that were part of this congregation. I can tell you that Sylvia Crow and Wendy Galbraith, Friends of Stars, are planning some kind of a service. They said they would include me in some of the planning so we can pass that information on. I have been in conversation with Jan Zwicky, Jean Zwicky's daughter, and there is going to be a service for her, which she has requested to be held here at UCE, and I'll be officiating. She also requested that. It was really heartwarming to me to know that she had put that in her will. And I think, you know, we deeply connected over pianos and birds. And like I said, a delightful woman. So Jan is, I'll be planning a service with the family for September. A family member is undergoing surgery, so they want to wait. So those are the things that I wanted to bring to you this morning. And it juxtaposes against that time we had last night. How many of you were here last night to celebrate? And the energy in the room was fantastic. The music was fantastic. This is such a vibrant and engaging and wonderful community. And we have so much to offer each other and the world. So we remember those right now that we have lost.
And now, if you wouldn't mind joining singing our next hymn, number 301, Touch the Earth, Reach the Sky. For those online, the text will appear on your screen. Ooh. Please rise in body and spirit as we sing together hymn 301. In Rosemary Trommer's poem, that is our reading today, she says, and I'm going to paraphrase here, sometimes the imagination takes a line or a boundary and bends it or twists it or turns that line perpendicular so that what we thought was a line has now become a path forward. By using imagination to change and let go of our boundaries, we can create our self-limiting beliefs into pathways forward to a more brilliant life, for however you define brilliant. So how do we want to go about doing this? Well, to start, imagination is always something I've been absolutely terrible at. I've always felt I lack creativity, out-of-the-box thinking, and the fact that I get to be your service leader this morning to talk to you about imagination is a little ironic, because I really thought I had nothing. And then I realized, looking back on those last few statements, that while I may suck at imagination, I am really good about creating boundaries for myself, about what I can and cannot do. So in these situations where inspiration is required, I will find a poem or a quote, and that will be my muse. My creativity flows best with words, and they serve as a mental prompt for me. So off I went to that fancy schmancy Google Chat GPT, and I typed in my little search, using imagination to challenge boundaries. There were a lot of results, y'all. So I'm going to attempt to summarize them here into 4 broad categories, give them an odd example, but as I read through everything, I realized that there are some I do, and there are some I need some work on. The first broad categorization is visualization. Whether it be imagining success, achieving goals, navigating challenges, or visualizing boundaries as a fluid membrane rather than solid walls. We can imagine our relationships as dynamic and ever-changing rather than fixed. Imagine them shifting and adapting based on needs and preferences to those involved. To me, this is sort of the equivalent of, if we build it, they will come. Or as my one daughter would say to me, just visualize it, Brandie, just think of it and put it out into the universe. Well, one technique that we often do that with is meditation. We often visualize where and what we want to be. This has been an important concept I've been trying to learn. I've been embracing meditation and visualization, but it is a learned skill. The second broad category is what I call explore new. Explore new settings, try new hobbies or interests, or new interactions with diverse people. Try things outside your comfort zone and challenge yourself. This one for me is much easier. I enjoy meeting new people, trying new things, and traveling to new places. I recently took a brief solo international trip for the first time on my own to explore not only a new place, but also myself. I am currently watching my second daughter try this almost daily as she travels the world, meeting new people, seeing new countries all on her own, learning and challenging herself. I like to think I helped instill some of this creativity and adventurous spirit. The third broad category is challenging your limiting beliefs. To identify limiting beliefs, challenge them, replace negative beliefs with positive ones, to consider diverse standpoints, and thus foster empathy and understanding to expand your perspectives. This one I might not be too bad at either. It did occur to me that I often say yes to being a service leader for this exact reason. I want to challenge myself, to try and push my boundaries of what I'm comfortable with or what I imagine I'm capable of. In another arena, in my recent solo trip, I found myself tired one evening and thinking, I must get up. I should get up, I should go out, I should be social, I should do X, Y, and Z. And then I stopped. Why? Why do I have to do anything? I'm here by myself. If I'm tired, I can do nothing. It was a revolutionary realization, y'all. And as such, I've been driving yet my third daughter nuts lately with my constant, but whys. She will tell me something someone has said or done, or how it makes her feel, or how she thinks maybe they should have reacted differently. But why? But why should it be a particular way? Who said? Why are they doing it that way? Why does it make you feel that way? Why do you believe that to be true? Why? I hope by asking her why, by asking her to really dig down and challenge herself on her beliefs and feelings, I am broadening her mind to not just blindly accept things we see or are told or how we should feel, but to challenge our thoughts and our preconceived notions. She is my empath. I hope I am helping to build her into a resilient dreamer. Either that, or she'll just smother me in my sleep for being an annoying mom who turns everything into a life lesson. And lastly, the fourth broadest category, although somewhat ironically, is to breaking down boundaries, is by setting and maintaining healthy ones. Visualize setting clear boundaries, prioritizing your needs, recognizing violations of your boundaries, and practicing assertion by confidently communicating your needs to others, and thus build your own self-confidence and self-respect. Lastly, reflect on the purpose of your boundaries, why you set those boundaries in the first place. Understanding the underlying purpose of your boundaries can help you decide when and where how to be more flexible. This one is another one under the column of things Brandie needs to work on. But imagination can be a powerful tool to challenge existing limitations, explore new possibilities, breaking down both self-imposed and external boundaries. This can lead to increased self-awareness, greater understanding of yourself and others, and ultimately unlocking your full potential and living a life that is brilliant to you. As you imagine how to break down your own boundaries, I will leave you with this quote. Everything that is real was first imagined. The Velveteen Rabbit. And now we will have a responsive reading, and the words will be, there they are. This is Wild Geese by Mary Oliver. I will read the bold, and I ask you to read the italicized portions. Yes. You do not have to be good.
You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert and meditating.
You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves.
Tell me about your spirit, yours, and I will tell you mine.
Meanwhile, the world goes on.
Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of the rain are moving across the landscapes, over the prairies and the deep trees, the mountains and the rivers.
Meanwhile, the wild geese, high in the clean blue air, are heading home again.
Wherever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination, calls to you like wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over, announcing your place in the gathering of things. I'll be natural.
Okay.
So the video that we're about to watch is by Martin Joseph. It's a song called Folding. The only thing I don't like about the video is some of it's just his head. And so it's like big head person. But the words in this really spoke to me and speak to what we're talking about today, about imagination and about longing. And so he's a Welsh singer-songwriter, and he was just here in Edmonton, and he sang on my birthday, and I've been listening to him for years, so I dragged along a whole bunch of people, and we went to the concert. So I'm hoping that it's, how are we doing? Have I talked long enough? Okay. Oh, that's a good thing. All right. Can we bring the lights back down? I'm going to invite you into a time of quiet reflection, meditation. And as we begin that, I invite you, if you wish, to place your feet on the floor, to allow yourself to notice your own breath as it moves in and out of your body. As your body takes what it needs from the air and discards what it no longer needs. I'm going to read a couple of the verses of Martin Joseph's, of that hymn, that song, I should say, and then we'll move into a moment of silence. I am folding like a kite that's lost the wind. I'm holding to the remnant of these sins, to a vast goodbye and a small hello. I am folding, folding slow. I've been pleading to a God I cannot find, but ours is not to bargain with the divine. And faith is such a tenuous thing to hold. See it fade and watch me fold. I surrender to the promise of this day, of a morning that will tearless be. My Hirath, H-I-R-A-E-T-H, my Yosemite, I am folding. Please stay with me. A few more moments of silence and I will bring you out with some soft chimes.
Our next reading was kind of the muse for today's service. It's called Prayer for Imagination by Rosemary Wahtola Trommer. There are so many boundaries in me, so many limitations, prisons, places where a line has been drawn, perhaps by another, perhaps by me. The lines say stop. The lines say don't be curious. They say make yourself small, now smaller. But imagination is that big pink eraser that rubs out the lines, smears and disappears them. Sometimes it's more like a tear, a small rip in the known that bids me look through the lines, as if peeking through a curtain. And sometimes the imagination takes a line and bends it, twists it like a clown with a balloon, until what I thought was a boundary becomes a bird, becomes a crown, becomes flower. Or it turns that line perpendicular, so what I thought was a deadline becomes a path. I want to listen for the voices beyond the boundaries, want to open to what I can't yet see. I want to hear the welcome of the horizon, and like a bell calling me home, let it lead me. And now I welcome Reverend Rosemary.
She's my, Rosemary Wahtola Trommer is my favorite poet du jour. I want to repeat that last stanza that Brandie just beautifully read. I want to listen for the voices beyond the boundaries. I want to open to what I can't yet see. I want to hear the welcome of the horizon. And like a bell calling me home, let it lead me. Have you ever felt homesick for something you couldn't quite put your finger on? Sometimes I feel homesick when I'm home. Have you ever wondered what it is you might be longing for? but couldn't come up with anything. You know what? I'm moving, because I had decided I wasn't going to deliver this sermon behind this pulpit. So I'm not going to. There, that's better. I can see you better, and I don't feel like there's this big thing in between us now. So this is much better for me. I hope it's okay for you. That video by Martin Joseph, it really made me feel like that. In the song, he uses the Welsh word hireth, H-I-R-E-A-T-H, hireth. And this is what it means, homesickness. But more than homesickness. And I found this description, hireth, or however you say it, because I don't know how to speak Welsh, doesn't have a single perfect English translation. It is usually translated as homesickness, but it has a greater meaning. It captures a deep, bittersweet feeling of longing and nostalgia that goes beyond simply missing a place or a person. Has anybody felt this? Yeah. These two ideas, these two places of deep longing or unrest, if you will, is the birthplace of imagination. Last month, I talked a lot about how joy and sorrow are inextricably linked, right? We talked a lot about that last month. Our theme of the month was joy. And I wonder if we can't combine the concept of deep longing or longing with imagination. So this month I'm going to be talking, like I did last month, about joy and sorrow, and this month quite a bit about longing and imagination. Nothing can manifest in this world without a well of some kind, a vessel, if you will, that can hold the full experience of the human condition. As I ponder upon this past year, the work of this congregation, the beauty that you have created here in so many ways, I can see both deep longing and creative imaginings. To be a bit corny and to refer to one of our hymns, we have touched the earth and reached the sky. In our lives, in our families, and in our congregation, we have to do both, don't we? We have to keep our feet firmly planted on the ground while we play with these ideas that keep the vitality alive in our congregation. Rosemary Wahtola Trommer talks about how boundaries kept her small, and the big pink eraser that took away those boundaries, and then she could imagine, she says. I don't agree with her in her entirety. I don't completely agree with those, because you know what? We need boundaries to keep us safe, and Brandie alluded to those healthy boundaries that we need to have, right? So that we only do what we can, and we say what we're going to do, and what is okay with us and not okay with us, and to really tune into those things. So I think that we need boundaries to keep us safe. And that's kind of what it is what our covenant does. It keeps us safe. It's using a hockey metaphor, because we're in the playoffs. Think about the goalie. Would the goalie get into goal without all of those big pads and that huge stick and that great big face mask? I think not. Boundaries, covenants, and structure keeps us safe, so that we can engage safely with one another, but nicely, not shooting pucks at one another. But simply by saying, I promise to treat you with kindness and respect. And when I slip up, I expect to be called to account. I will then make amends and be called back into covenant when I am out of covenant. And thinking back to the poem, she's also right. Imposed boundaries and rules will keep us small. So we need to fight against those negative messages, don't we? Messages that tell us that we can't do things because that's not the way we've always done them. Yuck. Or we have only to use, we have to only use Robert's rules when we conduct our meetings. News alert, we don't. Lots of ways of conducting business without using Robert's rules. Or we could also say, oh, we're an aging congregation, and we're tired, and we're dwindling, so we don't have to think about what to do. So we can't get creative, we can't get wild, we can't get adventurous. Well, of course we can. Just think about last night. That was a wild time that we had, right? It was fabulous. But I digress. So let me tie some of these concepts up for you. No spilling. Let's start with that sense of deep longing, shall we? Hireth, as the Welsh people call it. I made up a pronunciation. More than a homesickness, it's this nostalgia for something undefined, a bittersweet feeling. It is in this deep well of feeling, like there might be something missing in our lives. And then we have to write, right? Sometimes we have to sing, we have to write, we have to walk, we have to do something. We have to get creative and we have to imagine. It is in this well that is the birthplace of creativity and imagination. They say that John Lennon was a better lyricist than Paul McCartney, because he had a very tough upbringing, and it created in him that deep well of nostalgia for something greater than was his reality. I don't know who was the better lyricist. I love both of their writing. When Wahtola Trommer talks about how boundaries keep her small and keep her from doing what she needs to do to grow and flourish, like she says boundaries, but I'd like to call them barriers, rules, restrictions. Those keep us small. If every time we try to do something or every time we suggest something, we are left unsupported or we're put down, those rejections of us and our ideas will stunt our growth individually and collectively. So those are the two concepts that I'm thinking about this morning. As Brandie said, the inspiration for this service came from these lines in Wahtola's poem. And sometimes the imagination takes a line and bends it, twists it, like a clown with a balloon. I love this imagery. Until what I thought was a boundary became a bird, became a crown, became a flower. Or it turns the line perpendicular so that what I thought was a dead line, a boundary, a wall, then became a path. I want to listen for those voices beyond the boundaries. I want to open up to what I can't yet see. I want to hear the welcome of the horizon, and like a bell calling me home, let it lead me. So much longing, so much in those words. When I read that poem, my first wondering was, what is it in my own life that I need to twist, shape, shift, or turn perpendicular to get past the imposed boundaries or barriers that are keeping me small, not allowing me to access my imagination and creativity? I'm hoping you're asking yourselves, each of you, the same question, as we all need to do from time to time. And more importantly, though, how do we at UCE fully access our deep well of history, of success and failures, of our deep collective longing for this congregation? A congregation that has a personality, a character, traits, habits, thoughts, feelings, collectively. What is it about this congregation that helps us dig deep into that well so that we can get creative and use our imaginations to find the path? What patterns do we need to turn on their head or side so we can clearly see the choices and the possibilities that are ours and that are ahead of us? When I was in seminary, one of my professors, Janet Gear, whom I loved dearly, still do, but she had a catchphrase, and she said it so many times, and I'm sure she said it over and over and over again, so we would never forget it, and I never will. She said, first, you have to go deep. And she used these hand motions. First, you have to go deep, and then you can go wide. But you can't go wide unless you've gone deep. What she meant by that was that well fits into these, what she meant by that fits well into these concepts we are thinking about this morning. If we wish to go long and wide, in other words, be a vibrant, relevant, socially active congregation, we have to be consistently and constantly going deep. By going deep, and by that I mean engaging in personal spiritual growth, having some kind of a practice, being attentive to our own longings and the longings of this congregation, and then attending to them. While we are digging down for stability, imagination and creativity will show up as surely as the blossoms are showing up on every street in this city right now. They can't blossom without deep roots and without continuously digging down, and neither can we. Do you have a spiritual practice of some kind? It could be going for walks in nature, coming to Sunday services, taking part in a Soul Matters small group. Maybe it's swimming. That's one of my spiritual practices. I swim. Sing, go to the gym, meditate. There's all kinds of ways to engage our spirits. What are the spiritual practices we do together that help us dig down? I would say, answering my own question, I would say the most important thing is our Sunday morning services. There are others that we have, and we could use a few more options, I think. Let me know if you would like to create and lead one. We go deep so that we can go wide. The deeper we go, the more we can imagine, create, and implement. Just like what Wahtola Trommer says. And sometimes the imagination takes the line and bends it, twists it, like a clown with a balloon. And sometimes the work that we need to do might be just as painful. Until what I thought was a boundary becomes a bird, becomes a crown, becomes a flower, or it turns the perpendicular so that what I thought was a deadline becomes path. I want to listen for the voices beyond the boundaries. I want to open to what I can't yet see. I want to hear the welcome of the horizon, and like a bell calling me home, let it lead me. May we be held with imagination, longing, desire, and may we become so well rooted and grounded in our sense of longing and belonging that we will be able to do anything together. So may it be. Amen. I'll make this not so precarious for you.
Our last hymn today is hymn 1020, Woyaya? Yeah, Woyaya. For those online, the text will appear on your screen. Please rise in body and spirit as we sing together hymn 1020.
How many folks know this really well? Some, not very many. Can you leave my mic on a little bit, please, Andrea? Thanks.
And now, as is our custom here in the Unitarian Church, as we get prepared to end our time together, we will extinguish the flame. And I'll ask Claire to come back up and do so as I read these words. Let us sing The Magic of Imagination by Susan L. Van Dresser. Let us sing the magic of imagination by which we know one another and learn the lives of eras gone by. Let us sing the magic of creation by which we build the world of our soul and teach its wisdom to others, young and old. Let us sing the magic of our lives together, holding and shaping by the movement of breath from heart to lung, all new life that is to come. Go now with singing. Go now with magic in your fingertips and touch this world with life.
And I also invite you to go into this week with longing. I invite you to pay attention to that longing in your heart and soul and body and mind and see what you can do to begin to fulfill that. How can you dig your roots in deep so that you can blossom like the plum trees are right now? May we blossom together. May we blossom individually. And may this week be full of joy and wonder for you as we look into our imaginations. Go in peace, gentle people. Go in peace. Amen. And may we sing our linking song, Carry the Flame, as we finish our time together.